Okay, so I was afraid to start narrating on this one because I wasn't sure where it was going to go, but it looks like it'll be fine. I do have a bit of a constraint on the length, but I think it'll be all right. It's very close. I'll be lucky to capture the full length, but I might be able to. I worked a bunch of raw chert lately. But I need to work a little bit more on my pressure techniques. So I think I'll start the day with some raw chert. Now, is chert translucent? Yeah, I mean, some chert is. I don't know, when I first started, I figured chert was the opaque stuff, the stuff you couldn't see through. And the flint was translucent. But the key is chert forms in limestone and flint forms within chalk. For those of you 80% that are just tuning in. Okay. This channel is devoted to flintknapping and primitive skills, although if you want to fall asleep during the video on purpose, fine by me. Believe me, I know all about insomnia, anxiety, and all that good stuff. There's not much to say on this, except maybe I started on this type of stuff when I first began flintknapping. A landscape stone that looked like flint to me, that I later found out was chert and bull gravel, as they call it here. When I was working translucent stuff, I thought, hey, this is flint, so must be good. Must be good stuff. It turns out that some of this chert is very easy to knap. Raw, in the raw state. And I didn't know anything about heat treating when I first started. So I would knap everything in the raw state. And I figured, you know what? Flint knappers really are working some really hard stuff, but make it look so easy. Turns out they were not working really hard stuff, and it was much easier than the stuff that I started with. But this is something that I don't recommend starting with. Because it is very difficult to thin down, even though I might make it look easy. And it might look forgiving, but it's very steppy. And I spent many months, many hours learning how not to create step fractures, and I still create lots of step fractures. But luckily these days most of them are small and manageable as far as aesthetics. They don't look too bad. But this stuff does not abrade easily. It's just coarse grit and it's barely making a dent. Barely making a dent on that edge. It's not like the stuff I was recently knapping. Onondaga, I can take a medium grit and grind it down easy. But this one, this is a coarse grit, and I'm barely even touching it. But it's okay because I don't need to grind it down that much for it to be a good edge. It won't crush as much as the softer stones. That Onondaga was in the raw state. I don't think it responds to heat. I could be wrong. I just made a revised list of stuff that does not respond to heat. I think Onondaga is one of those that does not respond to heat. Okay, so cut the preform down. I'm going to try. This is where I need to practice. I got plenty of this percussion stuff done in the past. Now I need to practice the pressure flaking on the hard stuff, because this type of material is what is considered by many people to be the best material for hunting points. The raw chert. The difficult stuff to work because it has a very durable edge and a very durable life expectancy, I guess. It has a long life expectancy as a arrow point. You can probably use it multiple times. 2, 3, 4 times. Although I know some guys that save their arrowheads that they had successful hunts with, they don't re-hunt with those. Put them on display or whatever. Retire the arrowheads that were part of a successful hunt. But anyway, knapping the hard stuff with pressure just means more force and less expectation for long flakes. And percussion seems to work very well on this type of stuff. And this type of stuff is good for gun flints too. So as I was spalling that last piece to get some of these flakes, I got some more flakes, right? I got some small flints for flint and steel type stuff. I'm going to start a box for the small flints. Sometimes people ask if I have some of that available. I mean, I do, but not pre-boxed. I got a bunch of it scattered throughout my lawn. as landscaping gravel. Anyway, where am I here? Yeah, this stuff. I bet you if it was dark, you could see sparks flying off the tip of this. Although I'm not sure that wrought iron is as good for creating sparks as steel is. I could be wrong about that. This is a wrought iron pressure flaker. I'm going to go back to copper soon because I'm going to invest in some copper to make a new set of copper tools. Since I gave away my old set, I think I've already mentioned that one. Yeah, see, this is kind of steppy, right? So if you don't have the right amount of force, you can create a lot of steps on the edge, and you really don't want that in the preform stage. So I think I have a minimum number of step fractures, and I'm in good shape so far. But I do need to watch the sharpness on this. If the tip is too dull, it will not release easy. The flakes will not release easily, and I'll have to put way too much pressure on it. But if I don't have a strong platform, that sharp point will cause crushing like that. So I don't think I ground down that other side. And it's, usually a good tactic to leave the thin part of the flake, when it's a chunk, thin part of the flake for the base, so you don't have to thin that out. Yeah, that's already plenty thin. I don't have to do anything to it. Now, am I going to make a Cahokia point out of it? Probably not. It's probably just going to be triangular. I might put some notches in it, but I doubt it. Yeah, the platform's not nearly strong enough, so I'm gonna need to rework that whole edge and do the whole different strategy. So the edge was not nearly strong enough to send any flakes inward, and that's a dangerous situation to be in because you can create an island right where you don't want one. So I'm going to redo this edge here by beveling, and then try to push flakes off to catch those steps from the back. See, I gave myself some room on the edges See, I'm kind of wide. Just for this occasion. You know what I'm saying? Just so that I could bevel, just in case I needed it, because I'm going to lose, you know, some of the edge doing this beveling. It's going to be a continuous platform all the way down. That way I can do a continuous series of flakes. And, you know, finish it methodically. So I only need to do a couple passes and it'll be done. Okay, so see how this goes. Use the ridge from the previous flake scar. And for those of you just tuning in, the ridge from the previous flake scar is right here. See that? So I'm going to push off, not exactly on the ridge, but just a little bit further down, because it's a little bit stronger. A little bit further down. I could actually take off this. See where the ridge curves that way? It doesn't go straight. It takes a slight turn right there. If I chip at it, I can straighten out this ridge and then push exactly right where the ridge meets the edge. But I don't. It saves time just to go ahead and push right where the hypothetical ridge would be if I had trimmed it down. And this is driving me nuts, so I probably will glue this so it will not unravel every 5 minutes. I was hesitant to glue these rolls into permanent rolls because chamois leather is not cheap. But peace of mind and ease of working is so nice that I think I will do it. Makes it so much easier to work with. Now, can you see those flakes? They're in sequence. These flakes are traveling well. Luckily, there's no major imperfections in this stone. So far, so good on the consistency. Doesn't seem to be any little concrete pockets. And those little tufts of leather get caught up in the tip, driving me insane. Okay. Small price to pay though for a nice even non-steppy flake series. Now I'm messing with this a lot because I don't want pressure from back here on the back of this while I'm pushing the tip of this, because it's causing a bridge. Pressure here, pressure there. I want it to be supporting right where I'm pushing, so I had to kind of mess around with it until I can get a good position. And I tried to get that flake to travel enough to catch some of those step fractures from the back, but I don't know. Didn't seem to work. Took a risk with that one. Took off a big chunk. It's risky because it could take off the whole tip. And if it was a weaker material, the tip would have probably been gone. Now let's try. I'm pushing inward a lot, and that support is good. The platform looked a little weak, so I'm scratching it back so I can get rid of that weak edge and then push on a nice ledge there, or ledge on the edge. Yeah, it didn't reach. So now what do? Well, I'm going to have to take back the edge. If I take back the edge just either to the step or just in front of it, I can power the steps off. But that's the last resort, because you lose a lot of edge that way. But oh well, I'm going to lose a lot of edge. Still got good width for the final flaking passes. So I'm creating a bevel to send flakes across. Why are you not sending in flakes like you did before? Because this side is pretty flat. I don't need to thin that side. It's the other side that's more rounded that needs flakes sent across to flatten it. Although I will do a thinning flake where I think it might need it, like right here. And maybe a few more thinning flakes. But that edge is still not dull enough. These flakes are flying, even though with the soft pad, but it's not too bad. So yeah, I thinned it down. Hopefully not too much. Hopefully I didn't thin it down too much. And what I mean by that is I hope that it's not too thin for the support on the flaking. If it's too thin, it'll snap. I'll snap off the tip. That sort of thing. All right, I'll pause it here and I'll continue. I'll leave you in suspense. I'll continue on the next segment. Well, let's see. We got 3 minutes. 2 minutes. I'll use up to 2 minutes and then see where we're at. I won't do that to you because a lot of times it takes these videos forever to upload. Although what I could do is keep them private until they're both uploaded and then make them public at the same time. That'd be the smart thing to do, right? Yes, that would be smart. Why don't you just do the smart thing? Because the smart thing is so boring. I gotta wait for these to upload and I won't be able to see the responses. I need immediate gratification. Okay, let's see if we can get that step off there. Nice. Yep, it will work. I just pushed off a flake here and it blew through some of those steps. So I'll continue on the next video. Pretty much the same